everyone, and welcome to the very first episode of Wrestling with Fitness. I am the Wizard CZ. You know me from Card Subject to Change, and my accountability partner and good friend from Shotgun Wrestling Radio, Zack Takis, joining me on this adventure. Zack, how you feeling today?
I'm doing good, man. How about yourself?
Man, I'm feeling real good. I'm excited to launch a new show that I think people are gonna gravitate towards. I think we can really help with sharing our journey, other people on their journeys,
Yeah, I completely agree, man. It's kind of something for us too that came together pretty naturally too. It wasn't something like, oh, hey, let's do this. Like we were both kind of started on this fitness journey here, and kind of how it all spiraled from there.
Yeah. So I know we both have our respective audiences with our main wrestling podcast. For those who are tuning in that don't know our home base, talk a little bit about Shotgun Wrestling Radio, how you got started, and what you bring to the table.
So yeah, Shotgun Wrestling Radio, I started with my old co-host Zack back in 2010. We actually had a rendition of it when we went to college in Marshalltown. Oh, I think it was 2006-ish when we kind of started. It was kind of like Howard Stern type setting because it was video as well. So we dubbed it a radio show. At that time, it was called Lowdown Radio, and it was very similar to what we do now, where we talk about wrestling and independent wrestling, and we would have guys come into the studio, and we'd interview guys in the studio on our college campus there. And so that was kind of how Shotgun kind of got its birth. And then after both Zack and I graduated in 2007, we still kept in touch, but we didn't really think anything of it. And then somewhere down the line, we said, hey, let's go ahead and start a podcast together. And then 2010 rolls around, and we start Shotgun Wrestling Radio, which at first started out, I think, just like a lot of podcasts do, where you're talking in the national wrestling scene. You're talking, all kinds. Well, again, national wrestling scene. And at that time, really, Iowa didn't have a ton of independent promotions. I say we probably had 3 at max. At the time, it was probably 3XW, Impact Pro Wrestling, and probably I don't think SCW would have been around at that point.
They've been around for 20 years, so you'd be surprised.
Well, so what year did they start?
This would be 22 for their anniversary. I want to say that would make it 2003, but okay, so yeah, they also took a bit of a hiatus at
right. Well, and I know Seth Rollins and Merrick Brave haven't always owned it, so that's why it was. That's why I wasn't sure, because I was like, wait, Tyler Black at the time was one of our very first podcast guests that we had on the show. That was kind of a big name for us. And that was the time he was with Ring of Honor, and I didn't think they were doing SCW stuff at the time, but I could have been totally wrong. But yeah, so anyway, long story short, we were covering the national scene for quite a long time, and somewhere along the way, it really morphed into, hey, there's a lot of Iowa wrestling promotions. Like, and even now, there's more Iowa wrestling promotions than we can probably spin our heads around. And so that kind of turned into, let's kind of put more focus on the Iowa wrestling scene. And that's kind of what we did and what we've done ever since. And, I think most people know that Zack passed away in 2020. And I went ahead and picked up doing the pod again way later on in 2020, towards the end there, when people started kind of doing things again. And yeah, I just pretty much keep it strictly to local Iowa wrestling, which is good enough for me, because there's so many podcasts out there that do talk national wrestling that I'm like, we don't really need one more that talks about the national wrestling scene. So that's why I like sticking with my local Iowa scenes.
And we kind of, when Nick and I started Card Subject to Change, we just wanted to talk wrestling, whether it was national, whether it was independence. We just wanted to talk about wrestling. And that's what I love about it. We started just reviewing. We reviewed some past shows. We reviewed current shows, like big events, like pay-per-views, like SummerSlam was the first show that we did. And then it just kind of morphed into this being of supporting everything indie wrestling. we still do stuff on the national stage. Like we will review AEW and WWE pay-per-views. Um, I don't want to badmouth either company, but I would be happy if we dropped one of those. I'm not going to say which one. You can probably guess. But we still want they still have a lot of good talent that we want to follow. But our first interview was Merrick Brave, came on in 2022, October of 2022, and it just snowballed from there. We started inviting a lot of the SCW Pro roster on. That was our go-to for the most part of the first year and a half or so. And I've just been doing my best to reach out now to get anyone I can from anywhere in the country. If you want to come on and you want to share your story in wrestling, that's kind of what I'm reaching out to do. Like we had a young lady named Noelle Summit on Sunday or Monday. We scheduled it for Monday this week. She's based out of Colorado. She had a very unique story, being super young and getting into the business super young. But yeah, that's kind of where we stand. I just love it, and I love the fact that you and I are now on a platform where we can talk maybe a little wrestling, but more so talk about our fitness journeys. It's kind of where we're at, because we're both right there, starting to get into better shape.
Yeah. Well, and the cool thing too is like we know so many on the independent wrestling scene who are either like trainers or they just obviously really take the time and energy to put into their craft and make themselves look great. So we thought it would be great an idea at some point to start bringing on, wrestlers from the scene who have a great view on fitness and that type of thing, kind of get their, workout tips or what have you, and just kind of really hone in on things like that. So yeah, it's gonna be. I'm excited, man. I'm excited to get guys like Eric S. Knight, Storm Thomas, at some point hopefully JT Energy, Kurt Gannon, some of those type of guys who are really big on the fitness side. Those are some of the guys that I'm really looking forward to getting on, talking about the fitness journey. And the one thing, so I don't know about you, but like, for me, I typically go to the gym about the same time, usually so I try to go to the gym 3 days a week. I hit it Sunday morning, Tuesday and Thursday after work, and you kind of always see the same people, which is kind of fun. And so I really started going last summer. Yeah, I want to say it was maybe June or July. I was like, you know what? I think I'm going to start going to the gym again, start getting back to it, getting back at it. And I was doing really, really good there up until October. I ran a 5K in October. And then after that, I kind of was like, all right, I'm going to take a break. And then it was just hard for me to get back into the habit. And then the holidays came around, and then I was like, oh, fuck. And then, so, and of course, and I know it because I always made some type of excuse. Oh, I'm not going to go today. So I just don't feel like it. And it's like, so finally, like New Year's, I said, you know what? I'm going to start going again. We're going to start going 3 days a week. And I've gone pretty consistently, at least 3 days a week since. But it was really interesting because I remember when I used to go in last summer, there would always be this guy there that I would see. I didn't really ever talk to him, but he was just bigger dude, like built really big. And I was sitting there the one day, like kind of as I was getting back into it, and I'm like, God, where the hell has he been? Because he was kind of one of those regulars that was always there at the same time I was. Mm-hmm. And I finally saw him walk in actually here a couple weeks ago, and he like shrunk down. And I went over to him like, hey man, where have you been? I haven't seen you. He actually suffered a heart attack. So I was like, holy shit, dude. And yeah, so we were just chit chatting. I was like, hey, it's really good to see you because I remember always seeing you before. And he's like, you don't know how good that made me feel hearing somebody here, because we're all on this journey. It's like, don't know how good that made me feel just to hear, hey, it's good to see you around. And again, I started kind of developing a little bit of relationships here with some people that you see at the gym at the same time every week, and it's been a lot of fun because, like I said, you see the same people, and it's just, I'm a pretty outgoing person, so it's easy for me to go up and talk to people.
Believe it or not, having a podcast where I interview people, I'm not very outgoing and extroverted. I don't like large crowds of people, with the exception of maybe wrestling shows.
Well, even then, we're sitting towards the back.
That fair. Yes. I'll be honest. My journey, I'm currently staying with my mom. I have family that moved down to Florida last year, and I'm trying to get down there, but it's moving is hard and expensive, and finding a place to stay in Florida is extra expensive. Let me tell you. So I'm, for all intents and purposes, kind of stuck here right now. We have options and thoughts. Like my sister suggested that we could get like a trailer to put on the property that I could stay in. Where that's my space. The only problem with that is being over 400 pounds, I'm not going to be comfortable in the trailer. So the compromise is I have to drop some weight to be able to get down there. Now that's only one of the reasons.
You want to get down there and get into Speedo season, don't you?
Well, but so staying with my mom is hard. I'm not the best at self-motivation and self-control where food is concerned. So a lot of things that that come into the house, whether by me or by other parties, are very high in carbs and very high in sugar, and I have trouble with self-control in that area. I'm trying to get better. That is my biggest hurdle is the food piece. But I mean, I used to be able to walk all the time, and I still can. It's just finding the motivation to do it. I'm kind of in a rut or have been in a rut, I should say, where just like they say a body in motion stays in motion, a body in rest stays in rest, and I've been just stuck in that rest mode, whether it be because of depression, because of no motivation, and I just want to get that back. I'm tired of being 400. Well, I was about 460 at my biggest. I'm down to about 435 last I checked. So that's really cool. I don't weigh myself often. I usually do that at the doctor's, but I have been hopping on the scale here at home periodically because it now can register my weight. So that was a goal. That was great to see it to have the scale actually read a number instead of a big E. As far as my routine goes, I'm still trying to get into it though. I try to go to I have a Y membership. I want to swim more because I know that's less impactful. But I've been walking the track mostly when I've been down there, and a little bit of weights.
That's what I was going to suggest to you. Like with you having the Y membership and them having the pool, definitely, even if you're just going in there and because I know my mom does it in the summertime with all of her friends. They water walk. Like her and her friends, they'll go water walk for half hour or whatever, and just go water walk. Like that's still just as good as if you're doing the track or whatever. So my routine. And I've kind of always been this way. I'll do 30 minutes on the treadmill, and I'll do 30 minutes on weights. I'll do either free weights or the weight machines. And I usually try to make sure I'm at least an hour. So like I said, 30 and 30. I feel like that's a good time for me. And then I've started doing on my non-gym days. So I'm trying to do 30 minutes on the treadmill, which we have a treadmill here at home. And I was like, I'm going to start adding just a 30-minute walk. Something I can bring my iPad down, watch TV show, a little bit of wrestling. Lately, I've been starting to rewatch WrestleManias as we're in WrestleMania season. So I've been starting to go back and rewatch WrestleManias. But
it's the season.
So yeah, exactly. So that's why I've been doing on my non-gym days. I just did it here tonight before we hopped on the show. I went and did my 30 minutes cardio, and my goal with that is I think at least if I can do at least 6 days a week where I'm doing some 30 minutes of something. I think that'd be good and have at least one rest day in there. Because I'm a very big believer in giving yourself a rest day. Like I don't understand. I mean, I do kind of get it, but at the same time, for me, it's like you got to give your body time to just relax.
Oh yeah.
And there's nothing wrong with that. And it's like we were talking about the food portion of it, I'm not really going on a crazy diet. Like I don't want to fucking count calories and all that shit like that.
Exactly.
So that's for some people. That's for some people. Great. I'm stoked that it works for you. My brother-in-law started going on his journey about the same time I did, and he had different goals than I did. My goal was mainly to feel better. Like I want to feel better. I want to get endurance back. I wanted to just feel better. If I lose weight in the process, great. So I know the last time I went to the doctor, which was last, I think June, maybe July.
Mm-hmm.
There I was 267 at that point, and I'll be honest, I really didn't weigh myself much after that. And I think at one point back in the wintertime, like back around the holidays, I know I was probably back up over 270. And here I weighed myself a little while back. I was down to 265. So I was like, okay, that's good. And again, I don't really know if I have a goal weight. I guess I don't know how often I'm going to weigh myself. You know what I mean? Like maybe if I feel like, hey, my clothes feel really fucking loose, let's go weigh myself. Maybe I'll do that. But I did see, looking back at my summary from my physical last year, they had a goal weight for me of like 232, I think it was. I was like, that'd be 30 pounds. That's not terrible.
No, not at all.
We'll see it. I'm looking forward to it getting nicer out too, because by our house we have a nice little track, or it's like a nice little, one of the schools in the area has a nice little walking track that I love taking the pup down, and we'll go down and we'll walk on the outside track. So that'll be nice once the spring weather gets here in full swing, and not this fall spring that we're currently in, that we all know we're currently in fall spring. So I'm looking forward to that.
And that's what I've been doing this week is I'll be perfectly honest, I haven't gone to the gym between podcasting and yesterday. I had a really frustrating day at work and I didn't want to deal with people. So going down to the gym where there's 100 people at the Y. No.
But at the same time, like I told you yesterday, buddy, sometimes when you're that frustrated, that's when you need to get off your ass and move. You know what I'm saying? You gotta. And I've dealt that too. I'm like, I don't want to go. I'm stressed. I can feel it, and then I get done doing my treadmill, and I'm like, I just feel the weight just kind of lift, which is really amazing. Like how much it can make you feel like that, and that, like I said, just. And even for you, like I know you said, I'm gonna go walk around the block. Do a few trips around your block, man. That'll just throw your headphones on, listen to some great music, eat a little bit if you have to, and exactly like it's. By the way, there are some really great wrestling tunes that are bangers and workouts.
I'll have to. I know there's some playlists out there. I haven't really looked. I need to narrow down my playlist to specific songs with workouts because I've had the same playlist for 3 years now, and I just keep throwing songs onto it. I think there's about 400 or 500 songs on there. That I'm never going to listen to all of those at one time. But no, what I've been doing this week, I walked around the block a couple times the last couple of days. I haven't done it tonight. I got off of work and food was ready, so I had my dinner. When we're off the podcast, I'm going to do so nice thing about the Y, you get 2 free sessions when you sign up with a personal trainer. You have the option to buy more sessions. I did that. I was able to get 6 sessions at a deal. They had a special going on for the month of January and February, so I have 5 more half-hour sessions that I'm setting up and looking forward to. But what she went over with me is she called it a circuit, so that's what I'm going with. It's a weight circuit. Okay. I have some weights at home. I purposely went out of my way to get what I needed in case I had days where I just didn't want to go to the gym, didn't want to get out of the house, so I can do that. But starting off, most of them I'll have a 5-pound weight. There's one where I'm not quite there yet just because of how my arm, I got what's called frozen shoulder a couple years ago. It's a diabetic thing where I can only move my arm so high. I don't have full extension on either arm. So I'll walk you through the circuit. So basically it's lateral shoulder raises and then bicep curls, overhead tricep extensions. And that's where I have the issue with the 5-pound weights. because I get my arms up here and you put them back. She
Yeah.
wanted me to do like a circle, a 5-pound circle, one
Mhm.
with holding with both hands, but I knew I wasn't going to be able to get that down behind my head, so I've got a pair of 2-pound weights that I'll do individually. Um, it's really cool. I like what she set up, and it's kind of a do an exercise, rest for 30 seconds, do another one, rest for 30 seconds, and you just cycle through. So the route to round it out, I do wall push-ups, squat thrusters, which squats are the devil, at
That's
least
why I
right
don't
now.
do them.
But no, I'll have an exercise ball up against the wall, and I'll squat
Yeah. Yep.
assisted with that. And then the really weird one she calls the wood chop. I don't know if you've ever seen this. It's basically a hip turn, but instead of just a straight turning your hip with a weight, you've got
Yeah.
one foot behind you, one foot in front, and you're going down to up and
Mhm.
back. And so that one I feel a lot. That one gets
Yeah.
my heart pumping quite a bit.
Yeah, like I said, I like doing. There's a couple of free weight stuff that I like doing, and then there's a bunch. There's 2 or 3 different exercises I I like doing with the medicine ball. And like I say like very lightly, but I know it's gigs by the time I'm done, I'm just drenched in sweat, and yeah, it's been fun, and it's been. I really like the fact that I know I'm just kind of starting it, but I like the fact that I'm really trying to carve out that 30 minutes of just, hey, we need to get moving for at least 30
Yeah.
minutes. And I was listening to a podcast the other day, and I know the guy that was on the podcast, lead singer from Shinedown. He's always harped on it on his Instagram post, and that was kind of part of my motivation on it too. Was just him, kind of seeing him daily saying, "Hey, go work out" or whatever. I'm like, and he even mentioned on the podcast, he's like, "Hey, if you do something 30 minutes every day, you're kind of good to go." And I know there's all kinds of just health benefits in general for just doing some type of exercise for 30
Yeah.
minutes a day. So I'm really excited for that. But like I said, I'm not really going balls to the wall crazy on the diet thing. I mean, I still want to enjoy that part of life. Like I don't I don't want to mean to sound like I'm fully against the diet. So I'll be honest with you. Back in 2009, yeah, beginning of 2009, because we got married in 2009, I kind of put a New Year's resolution. I wanted to lose weight for when I got married. Because I started this in January. My wedding was in June, so all right, it puts me at 6 months. I think at the time I was like 230, so I was lighter than I even was now. And my goal at the time was like 195 for my wedding. And I did hit it. I hit it like a month or maybe a month and a half before the wedding. I actually think I ended up getting down to like 192. I'm
Oh,
like, and it was great to get that low, but at the same time, like the hardcore dieting like that really kind of sucked a lot out of it. I was just like, oh, it's great, I love it, but I'm like, just made you feel. I don't know. For me personally, it was great. I found a love of working out there. I just really hated the whole diet thing. Like I do notice that I'm eating better. Like I'm not like very conscious about I'm not gonna, oh, I can't have this slice of pizza. You know what I mean? I can't have this little cheeseburger or whatever. And that's even kind of what they said on the podcast I watched. They're like, you want a cheeseburger, go have a cheeseburger, but just make sure you're kind of, you know, leveling it out with some type of activity, and that's kind of, I think, the big thing. It's like, yeah, eating right and eating good is half the battle, but also still is moving. That's why I'm trying to do that 30 minutes daily. And I know you said you work from home, and I work from home a couple days a week, and I started last Friday here, like during my lunch break, and I was like, well, I'm gonna go ahead and knock out my 30 minutes on my lunch break. I'll just hop on the treadmill instead of sitting here at my computer desk and playing a game. And I was like, shit, I'll just knock out a quick 30-minute cardio session, call it a day.
hell yeah. I mean, the downside with me, and it's not the downsides per se, but I am at a high enough weight where I am not supposed to be on the machines.
Right.
There's a weight limit for them. Right now, my short-term goal is to get down under 400. If I can hit that 399 mark, we are golden. I mean, not, I want to continue after that, but that's where my short-term goal is. As far as food goes, I've been doing a lot better with portion control. That's the big thing.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
My biggest weakness, though, is I gravitate towards fast food and towards things I shouldn't be eating. And a lot of times the weekend is when I'll just kind of let go and do whatever the hell I want, and I need to stop. But yeah, I'm with you. You talk about them saying if you want to eat a cheeseburger, eat a cheeseburger. You gotta do it, and you gotta be reasonable with it. You gotta do portion control. I'll be honest. My good friend Travis, JT Energy, he checks up on me all the time, and we've talked about food before. He said,
"Hi, Tina." Our good friend Tina in the chat. I just wanted to give her a
"Hi,
special shout out.
Tina."
Tina is a big Blue Rocket fan, just like me.
He needs to come back.
He does. We want the Blue Rocket. Sorry to interrupt you there, buddy. Keep going.
No, that's okay.
I saw Tina in the chat. I wanted to give her a special shout out.
Absolutely. But no, JT would talk about, eat what you want, just do it responsibly. Mm-hmm. I guess that's kind of like they say drink responsibly, eat responsibly too.
Right.
There's a reason that's the
other thing I noticed too, dude. Like, I've never really been the biggest alcohol drinker. Like, just not something I've had my fair share, but and it's funny coming from the family that I have where they're not, I want to say they were drunks, but they all had high tolerance. You know what I mean? I'm like, I was never that way. I was like, I don't think I've had a drink since Hall of Fame weekend last summer.
I've gone even longer.
Yeah, I was just thinking, I don't think I've had a drink since then. So I'm not, I don't know. I just not something that really appeals to me anymore. And it's kind of one of those things where I'm like, in the back of your mind too, it's like, that's extra calories you don't need.
Right.
Like, give me, I drink a lot of water. I have a 1 liter bottle of water that I'll usually drink 2 to 3 of a day. So I'll have one in the morning. My afternoon one, I'll put one of those like Crystal Light flavor packets. Yeah. I'm like, plain water, yeah, it's okay. But by the afternoon, I'm like, I need some flavor or something to kind of give it a more juice. But yeah, I'm usually drinking 2.5 of those a day. And that's kind of does it for me. And then I'll also have a can of like Diet Dr. Pepper with my lunch. So it's like that's kind of enough for me on that type of thing.
For me, I'm diabetic. So drinking comes with the territory. Not alcohol, just in general.
Right.
Thirst comes with the territory. It's a vicious cycle. Every hour to hour and a half, I'm getting up to go to the bathroom, and I also have one of these, if not a Diet Mountain Dew next to me at all times. Down in the, I have about 3 to 4. It's a Gatorade bottle. We are not sponsored by Gatorade.
But hey, if they want to sponsor, hit us up.
Yeah, if you want to sponsor us, please. But I just refill these water bottles. I've got 2 or 3 in the fridge, and I switch it out every time I go to. When I finish it, I get up, go to the bathroom, go switch out my drink if I need to. But yeah, I don't know what I was gonna say. I lost my train of thought. No, but it's all about keeping yourself in moderation from everything everybody's told me. And I'm trying to learn more self-control and get to that point. I know you and I, we've talked for a while now about our fitness journey back and forth, and you said you are at a point where you love going to do the workouts. I'm not there yet. I want to be there, but I'm not there yet.
Yeah.
And part of that is up here. My mental health, don't always want to just do the work.
Yeah.
I will fully admit there have been days where I drove down to the Y, sat there, stared at the building, and just was like, nope, drove away.
Man, see, and that's the thing that I said, like, kind of starting back in January when I really started committing to going back. The hardest part is walking in the door.
Yes.
That is the hardest part of starting your workout and doing everything, in my opinion. And I've heard that quote used before: is the hardest part is getting in the door. The rest is up to you. Which I fully, and it's like, you know what? That's a great way to look at it. It's like once you're through the door, you're in. Hey, it's there.
Yeah, if you walk through that door and you're not doing something, what the hell is wrong with you?
Right.
Get inside, get the work done. But it's tough to even take the steps to walk in the door sometimes. Not always, but sometimes. You know, talk about you mentioned some good music. Talk about your routine when you go. What are you listening to? What are you?
So so
What
I'm
pumps
like
you
you.
up?
Like I have a big playlist. I think my favorites playlist right now. It's not like anything in particular as far as like, oh, just I have a hard rock playlist. I have this playlist. I think it's just a favorite songs playlist that if I hear a song and say, "Ooh, that's cool," I'll put a favorite on it on my Apple Music, and it goes to my favorites playlist. And right now, my favorites playlist is over 11 hours long, so it has a mix of everything. And I have,
I need to
hard
listen.
rock, I have pop, I have country, I have literally a little bit of everything on my favorites playlist. Because when I am working out, I do like a nice variety of songs, and there are definitely songs in there too that I've had it where it's like I get towards the end of my treadmill session, and it's like, God, you're not sure if you could go one more interval, if you could go one more go at it, and then that song comes on and just kind of kicks your ass, like, oh shit, we got this, we can finish this. And
Yes.
that's what I love. And then there's, like I said, there's also your wrestling songs. You can be sitting there doing a workout or wherever, and you try really hard, but when you have Jay Uso's song, you can't help but want to go. And even Roman's song, like having Roman's song, like if you're standing there lifting weight, like doing the free weights or whatever, that's a good one. Rhea Ripley's is another great fucking song to
Yes.
have, I don't know, as a workout playlist.
So while you're looking at, I will let you know I just looked at my playlist. It is 38 and a half hours long. So that is
That's
what, a
awesome.
day and a half worth of music.
That's awesome.
But I go from, so I have everything from Eminem, just one.
Yep.
I'm not a big rap person, but Lose Yourself. That has been a startup tune for
Hmm.
me the last couple of weeks. When I get to the track, I'll be the first one I play. But I have everything from rap to With My Baby Tonight by, I have both Jeff Jarrett and Jesse
Yes.
James on the
Oh, that's
playlist.
awesome.
It's the
That
same
is
song, but I got them both on there.
that is awesome.
So I have such an eclectic taste of music.
Yeah, I mean, listen, mine's like I have your Metallica's, I got Creed, I got Nickelback, I Ain't Ashamed, I have Taylor Swift on my list. I got Real Big Fish. Again, I'm so varied in what I like to listen to that it just makes it fun. The one thing that bugs me about my playlist, and I don't know if it's an Apple Music setting, even though my playlist is like 9 hours long, I'll still be doing my workouts and I'll still sometimes get the same song I got on my last workout. I'm like,
Yep.
okay, that was Tuesday. This is Thursday. Can't you give me something else? I mean, it's just, yeah, it's, but I mean, that's either here nor there. It's just, yeah. So,
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know if this would help you. It's starting to help me. Another thing that JT Energy suggested is to have a journal.
okay.
Not necessarily like for both goals and for what you did. So I went and I got a planner, just a standard
Oh,
yearly
yeah.
planner. Like today's Wednesday. Since we have the podcast today, the only goal I wrote down is to do 3 circuits of my weights. I did get out and walk, so that's extra. But like tomorrow, tomorrow my goal is to get down to the Y and do 6 laps.
There you go.
6 is kind of my limit right now, and I'm trying to build up that.
So, all right. So let me ask you this, bud. What time are you hoping to go down there?
Usually I'll go after work. And
okay, so we're probably talking 4:30, 5 o'clock.
Later than that, I get off at 6.
Okay.
I don't go anywhere in public without taking a shower. So realistically, I get down there about 7.
Okay.
Maybe a little sooner.
All right. So when I get done, by the time I get done with my workout, you're probably getting ready to go to yours tomorrow. I'll try to remember to text you saying, "Hey, get off your ass and go work out."
Absolutely. I appreciate that. That's what we're here for. That's what accountability buddies do.
Exactly. Like, again, even if you go down there and do your 6 laps, that's probably close to half a mile, if not a mile. Like that's
a little
good.
over, actually, about 3/4. So it's the track is it kind of fudges a little bit. It's not. It's a little bit longer than this, but it's 8 laps for a mile.
Okay.
So if I can do 6, it's about 3/4.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
Ultimately, I want to get up to 10 then beyond. But my next goal is to get up to 8 first.
Yeah, I usually end up on my gym days. I'll end up with 2 miles total on my treadmills. Lately, and it's funny because even the other day I was like, oh, we're just gonna go until so my intervals that I do, I'll run for 60 seconds, I'll walk for 90 seconds. That's kind of been my intervals that I've been doing here lately. And a week or so ago, I was like, let's see if I can get under 30 minutes. I was able to get under 30, my 2 miles in under 30 minutes, which I thought was pretty huge. And then here last week, I was able to get it under 29 minutes. I was like, oh shit, that's pretty cool too.
Yeah.
And I was like, I don't know how much further I'll go beyond that, because it's kind of one of those things where I'm like, not really like trying for anything. It's just one of those things. I don't know. I do kind of want to do the same 5K that I did last October. It's a yearly 5K. It's for, especially for U-Race, where they raise money for breast cancer research here in Cedar Rapids. And I'm hoping to do that one again this coming October with the mindset of beating my goal. So I think my goal, I'm trying to remember what I finished. I want to say I finished at like 45 minutes, maybe 48 minutes last year. I would like to try to maybe get my 5K time down this coming year to maybe 40 minutes. Like, I think that's doable. So it'll be interesting. For now, it's going to be the only 5K I'm scheduling is just that one. And so these intervals that I'm doing, I kind of got these intervals from what's called from the Couch to 5K program, where they really start you out slow. So they'll start you out 1 week. You can do this one. I'm doing the 60-second runs, 90-second intervals. Then if you keep progressing, I think it's 90-second runs, 2-minute walks. Then I think it's 2-minute walks or 3-minute, or 2-minute runs or 3-minute runs. I can't remember which one it is, but yeah, it just kind of slowly keeps increasing you week to week. So for now, I've just been kind of sticking with the 60-second runs. And I'm not really doing anything specific. I guess I don't have a 5K coming up anytime soon. So I'm kind of just going at it about my leisure way right now. So, and then on my non-gym days, again, I'm just doing 30 minutes on the treadmill, light walking, nothing crazy. Just keep the body moving.
Yeah. And that's, I just, on days where I'm not going to the Y, I'm doing my best to go around the block now that the weather is nice for the time being. It's about an 8 to 10 minute walk around the block, but there's also a hill. So the hill is not super steep, but it's steep enough that it gets me winded by the time I get to the top of it. So I'm figuring that accounts for some of doing more strain, even though it's less time. I think accounts for something there for sure. But yeah, I don't know. I'm feeling good at starting to get into shape. I can't wait to see where we go and where we end up from here.
Well, so the interesting thing, and I don't mean to keep interrupting you here. I made a post I made a post. Oh, I feel like earlier in the month of February, kind of just me on one of the weight machines, kind of just like selfie there or whatever. And one of my friends actually took a shot that I made early in January. He's like, "Hey, you can actually see a difference already in your front." He's like, "This is your photo you posted here. This is your photo you posted here." And I was like, "Yeah, you kind of can see a little bit of a difference." So I was like, "That's kind of always kind of cool." And it's like I'm not going to go crazy taking progress pictures, but I'm kind of going to keep it back in mind. Maybe once a month, I'll take a different. Try to take the same pictures, kind of see again how we are month to month. So
yeah, for sure. Have you thought about? And I'm asking because I've thought about it, but I'm not. I don't feel like I'm in a place where I can do this yet. Have you thought about doing any type of stretching or yoga? Like, look at DDP. And
yeah, so that's one thing I definitely need to get into because there are days where I'll get done doing my cardio and my knee will be bugging me, and I'm like, I know I need to stretch that out. I know I need to learn. I need to learn stretches, and hopefully when we get some of these people on here, they can give us kind of tips and shit on. I mean, obviously we can look it up, and I plan to, but it's like they can give us better tips and say, okay, obviously you guys are athletes. How do you stretch and keep yourself loose? Because like I said, there's days where I've had icy hot the knee or whatever, but it's I definitely want to work on stretching. I'm not necessarily sure if it's gonna be yoga per se, but definitely want to work on the stretching.
Same here. It's going to become sooner rather than later for me necessary because of what you're talking about, the strain. But I just was curious. I've looked at DDP yoga and I've watched people trying to do like particularly that stand up leg stretch where your legs all the way the fuck up.
Oh
here.
yeah.
And I'm like, I'm gonna fall on my ass, or I'm gonna fall into a cabinet and break something.
Well, like I told you, I know, like for guys like you, DDP has people start out using the chair. I mean, that's something to keep in mind too. And I'm not sure if on his DDP app that he has. I'm sure I would assume he would have videos for people to do it with the chair. I would assume he would have that on his thing because that's kind of the big thing that he does. Is shit. Did you see the video he posted of Lex Luger the other day?
I did.
Holy shit, that's fucking cool. Like DDP, dude. This guy, he needs to go in the Hall of Fame just all on his own, just for the help he's done for people.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Like the fact that he was able to get Lex to kind of stand up out of his chair again, and it's hopefully at some point too would be awesome if he could get Lex to even start walking again. Like again, the work he's done for wrestlers past and present is just incredible.
Oh, I completely agree, and I think that would be, in my mind, that's kind of a warrior award recipient for if you're talking WWE. I think I think you're correct. And I will say, I know he's not, but Mr. Page, if you're watching and you want to come give us some fitness tips, we're doing this the last Wednesday of every month.
But yeah, man, I don't know about you. I don't really got a whole lot much more. I know we were going to try and keep our show here to under an hour. So I think it's probably a good spot here to wrap it up. And hopefully once we officially get our first guest booked for March, we'll be able to announce that and start promoting that. Because again, we're hoping to have a guest on every month here with us to help out. So
completely agree. I know it seems like we've had quite a few people coming in and watching the show. So thank you all if you've tuned in and stayed with us. Follow Zack on Shotgun Wrestling Radio. Follow me on Card Subject to Change. Go over to our YouTube pages. Look for Shotgun Wrestling Radio. Look for Card Subject to Change. That's where this is streaming to live, as well as Facebook on my end. But yeah, follow us. Look for more episodes. We may do a bit more. I may do some short form videos, just some real type things. But yeah, we appreciate everybody tuning in, and I'm with you, Zach. I think we've covered everything we can on this starting episode, and I'm excited to see where we go next.
Yeah, absolutely, dude. I'm very excited. Again, if you're watching this, it's really not too late to go up there and get yourself a 30-minute exercise in for the night.
Yep. I've got my weights and my yoga ball or whatever ready, so I'm going to do that as soon as we get off of here.
All right, man.
Well, again, thank you so much for tuning in to Wrestling with Fitness. For my co-host, Zack Takis, I am the Wizard CZ, and you all have a fantastic evening.
This has been a For Frequency's Sake Podcast Network production. For more great content, subscribe to For Frequency's Sake on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter.